Hey folks, Unravel here. Hope you guys are all good and taking care of yourselves. So guys, in this video, we're gonna be diving in the enigma known as advertising. But before we do that, let me ask you this first. Have you ever had an ad creative idea which you had thought that this was the perfect one, which is gonna blow up and make your brand go viral? But you found out later down the line that after you had launched the campaign, that it didn't do so well, or actually it was opposite to your expectations and it didn't do even average. Well, let me tell you, just like you, I've been there, done that many times, and it is a common process which most, if not all, advertisers go through, and it is a part of trial and testing which you need to be doing as an advertiser, because not everything hits. All right, as we are marketing on digital platforms, we are working to find the right fit for the product, for the ad creative, for the landing page, for all these things with the right customer, and then our product sells. So it is only normal that you will succeed less times than you will win with these ad creatives. All right, and that is the whole crux of it, and that is why not every ad you make will be successful. But there are definitely some common problems which I've seen many people do, and many advertisers, even experienced advertisers, make, which make their campaigns not hit or not reach their full potential, and downplay their ad creatives or downplay their brand in general, and don't get them the right sales which they actually deserve or their product is deserving of. So there are some common problems. You can rectify those problems, and that will improve your chances of getting that perfect ad creative which will go viral. But from experience, I'm telling you that these ad creatives come by when you're continuously testing. You won't have an engine or have something of sorts of an engine which will allow you to make ad creatives again and again which will all go viral. No brand has such a sort of thing. And if any online guru promises you that they are gonna give you a 100% successful ad creative engine or something of the sort, then don't buy into that shit. It is not legit, and it is just a way of fooling you, because from experience, and not just from mine but from multiple friends of mine who are digital advertisers, digital advertising is all about testing. You can't get it right each and every time. The whole point is that you will get right very few times, but when you do, you will end up making more money than you would have lost with some sweet profits. So that is the whole concept of digital marketing and marketing in general. But there are some issues, commonly faced issues, which I have seen people make, even experienced digital marketers. So in this video, we're going to be addressing those issues, and I want to make sure that since you are my audience, you don't end up making those mistakes, and at least on that part, you guys are correct. So you can, when you're testing multiple ad creatives, those particular 3-4 things which other advertisers are doing wrong, those don't hold you back or don't hold back your brand from growing. So in this video, we're going to be diving in those, and without further ado, let's just dive right in. So first, we're going to be talking about misaligned targeting. Now, what do you mean by misaligned targeting? Well, to explain it to you in simple terms, I'll use an example. Let's just say you're trying to sell your streetwear brand, and in the target demographics in Facebook ads campaigns, you use office employees as one of the target demographics. Well, let me tell you from common sense, or let me ask you from common sense, do you think that product is going to sell? Well, let me tell you, 99% of the times that office going employee above the age of 30 won't be buying your streetwear brand, because it is obvious they have a corporate uniform and that is what they wear 6 days of the week. Alright, so that is very much understood that here you're not targeting the right audience, that's why your product is not selling. So first and foremost, each and every brand must dive deep, use multiple analytical tools, use AI to find the proper demographics, and then test those already refined demographics instead of just going out and putting their campaigns on whom they think will sell to. Alright, so that is one of the most important things which anybody and everybody should be doing if they are trying to run Facebook ads or any sort of market online ads, that you should have a very thorough understanding of what your target market is or what your audience are. Alright, so this is one of the common mistakes, most common mistakes I must say, which I have seen many new advertisers make, and sometimes even experienced advertisers who don't have a good idea of what they are trying to sell, what the product is exactly, they also make this mistake. So this is one of the things which you must keep in mind, and you must go through every time before you are trying to create an ad campaign for a new product. You must try to understand your demographics very thoroughly first, and then try to refine it further down with particular prospects, and then try to find the exact customer persona and then move on from there. Alright, so that's it for the first point. Now let's move on to the second point. So our second point of discussion, or the common mistake that I've seen people make, is they make overwhelmingly convoluted creatives. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, for your product to sell, or for a particular prospect to like your product, visit a landing page and then buy the product, first and foremost, they must understand and get a clear idea of what you are trying to sell. And then the offer should be good enough that they are convinced into clicking the link, visiting the landing page and then buying the product. But there are a lot of times when I've seen that the creators which a lot of advertisers are using don't convey the actual meat of the matter, or what the product they are actually trying to sell is, and it tells the potential buyer about everything else but the product. And what ends up happening is that this increases the bounce rate, because the buyer often misleadingly clicks on the link, visits the landing page, and then he ends up finding that the product that he saw on the ad creative, or the description of the product, or the general idea of the product that he got from the ad creative is not exactly what the product is, and that increases the bounce rate, which happens so many times. And I've seen even multiple experienced advertisers do this mistake, that their creatives don't clearly convey the message that they are trying to convey to their potential buyers, because that is the whole communication point between you and your potential buyers. So you need to be very thoroughly clear about the product and the basic features of the product when you're trying to sell a product to a particular buyer. Alright, and this is a very common mistake, and a lot of people do this. But it is a very easily resolvable mistake as well. If you have a good idea of your demographic from the first point, as we discussed, then you know their pain points. You know where you need to hit for them to get convinced to buy a product. So you need to be very concise and clear about what your product is, what it is about, and how it's going to help a potential buyer. Only by doing that will you have a higher purchase rate and a higher CTR. So be sure to do that, and don't convolute the idea with all unnecessary information. Be clear, be crisp, be concise about what your product is, what your buyer wants, what it is about, and how it will solve your potential buyer's problems. And that's it. That is the whole crux of creating an ad creative. So be sure to not do this mistake while creating your next ad campaign. So on to the third point. So the next point is budget over allocation or wrong allocation, which I've seen being done multiple and countless times. And it surprises me actually that people are willing to put in such huge amounts of money in untested ads where they don't know what the results would be. And it is so common that I've seen it happen multiple times. And it is one of the major reasons why certain people end up losing faith in digital marketing, and they end up saying that digital marketing doesn't work and it isn't for somebody who isn't experienced in that field. So that is one of the major reasons why people believe that digital marketing doesn't work, because they overspend on untested ads. So I always suggest to my clients and to my peers that always put in budget after you have done testing on those ads. Because if you put in unnecessary amounts in untested ads, then that will only lead to disappointing results, because obviously you're going to lose more times and win less times. But when you win, you need to make sure that you have cut your losses short. You haven't lost so much when you were losing that now winning isn't able to compensate for your losses. So that is one of the very key things when it comes to like winning in digital marketing, that you need to know when to cut your losses and when to actually spend or put certain budgets into certain ads. You should only put certain budgets according to your capacity, because every person has a different capacity and a different bar which they cross once the ads have been tested. So once you find out what your bar is, you should only put that amount once the ads have been tested and they have been proven to get you results. So I would only like to leave you with one key point, that without proper testing and scaling at the right point, you won't be able to succeed in digital marketing. You should know when to cut your losses. You should know when to scale up. You should know what is the budget which you will put in once the ads have been tested and are verified, and what is the amount of money which you are not willing to lose over a certain bar before deciding that the ads are not working. So these things you need to sort out so that you don't enter this problem and face the same issue that a lot of other advertisers face, and because of which they end up losing their faith in digital marketing. So keep that in mind, and please allocate your budget very smartly and cut your losses short. So on to the next point. Point number 4 is lack of A/B testing. So I've seen a lot, and by a lot, I mean a lot of people not use this exceptional tool which online digital marketing platforms provide us, and that is a tool for A/B testing or experimentation in general. And when I say that people underappreciate or underestimate the power of A/B testing, I am 100% on mark that people do this. Well, if you don't believe me, then let me tell you an amazing fact. Do you know that 0.1% of top advertisers actually test their ad creatives 11 times more than your average advertiser online? Well, if you think from their perspective, then you will just get it, because these guys know that testing is the core most important thing to figuring out which ads work and which doesn't. And it is one of the most important things, or one of the most crucial deciding factors, which decides how successful you are as a digital marketer for maybe your own brand or for your clients. Because A/B testing is actually the key when it comes to online marketing, because it helps in verifying what your exact customer persona is and what your exact customer persona actually likes and wants from you, and what they are resonating to. So A/B testing is definitely one of the most crucial things to do. And if you still underestimate the importance of A/B testing, then definitely go check out my previous video in which I have discussed in depth why A/B testing is so important and each and every brand should be doing it. So A/B testing is the way to go, and I cannot tell you how important it is, but if you take my word for it, then definitely do A/B testing whenever you're running new ad campaigns. It will help you greatly, and it will increase your results definitely. So with that said, moving on to mistake number 5, which is, let's be honest, ignore mobile users. And it is such a common thing that I've seen, and they don't even know what percentage of their potential buyers are on their mobile phones using mobiles, and they only make their ads desktop optimized and not mobile optimized, which leads to them losing a bunch of results, and they end up not realizing why they are not getting results. And it is due to a very simple problem that their ads are not mobile optimized, the text is somewhere else, the graphics are somewhere else, and people are not able to understand or get a clear picture of what they are trying to sell them, or what the clear message is. And what ends up happening, the customer doesn't click on that. So ignoring mobile users is one of the greatest crime you can do while marketing online, because in today's time, especially in fashion industry, around 90% of market, which is a potential buyer, resides and purchases from the mobile phone and not from the desktop. So you must be having mobile friendly ads, and your ads should be optimized for mobile before you run any ad campaigns, because it will lead to not so good results, and you won't be understanding why you're seeing such results or seeing not so great results, and it will leave you head scratching, where the problem would be so simple that your ads are not mobile optimized. So do me a favor, the next time you're launching an ad campaign, just make sure that your ads are mobile optimized. Alright, so now that we're done with this point, let's move on to the last point, or the last mistake that I've seen happening most commonly with digital marketers or digital advertisers online, and that is not properly reviewing their analytics and understanding which metrics matter and which don't. Now, I won't be diving deep into which metrics matter, as that would be an entire video in and of itself. But if you guys want me to make a video, definitely do leave a comment down in the comment section below. I'll make a video on which metrics matter later down the line. But for this particular video, I'll just skim over the surface and tell you why metrics and analytics are so important, and you should be going over them and optimizing your ad campaigns based on the data that you're getting from your ad campaigns. Alright, even a while back in one of our ad campaigns, we were seeing consistent spending but not equally good results. And if it wasn't for a rigorous checking of analytics and the metrics, then I'm damn sure that we wouldn't have found out the reason behind this discrepancy, that there was a tiny misalignment in our audience geography, and we would have never caught that mistake, and we would have thought that the ad campaign wasn't so good and it wasn't hitting the mark, and we would have shut down that campaign. But guess what? Once we fixed that problem, that ad campaign gave us 4.5x ROAS on that particular campaign itself. Well, before moving on, here's an amazing revelation for you. According to HubSpot, companies that assess their metrics or their analytics thrice a week are 5x more likely, or 5 times more likely to succeed and get a higher ROI than their competitor companies who are not doing the same. So this just goes to show the importance and the need of assessing and analyzing the metrics and analytics properly, and then moving on by considering and compiling the data and then drawing knowledgeable insights from them and implementing and optimizing your ads based on them. And that is the correct way of doing online marketing. And if you're not doing that and not seeing results, then it's not the fault of the marketing platform or the product so much, but it's you who is lacking somewhere in your assessment. And if you are doing it correctly, then you will definitely see results, as 99% of other online advertisers are seeing or have seen at some point in their careers. Alright folks, so that's the rundown on why some ads just don't hit the mark. And if you gained anything new or learned anything new from this video, then be sure to like the video and smash the subscribe button as well, because it definitely does help the channel. And if you've got a personal ad fail story or something you want to chat about with me, then definitely drop it down in the comment section below. So that's it from me for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Keep learning, keep testing, and keep grinding. And I'll see you in the next one, guys.